My name is Emily, and I've made mistakes so grave it echoes through every quiet moment of my day. A single phrase, spoken in a fleeting rush of frustration, tore through the foundation of my life like a fault line splitting solid ground. I never imagined that just a few careless words could reshape my world. But here I am, alone, haunted by the consequence of a moment I can never take back. If you've ever let your emotions rise like a tide and drown your better judgment, if you've ever pushed someone away, believing deep down they'd always return, then maybe, just maybe, you'll understand the ache that now lives inside me. It began weeks ago, though the unraveling had been subtle, slow like rust beneath a coat of paint. James and I had been together for 2 years. In that time, we built a life full of quiet comforts and shared dreams. Our days were made of simple routines, late-night conversations, inside jokes, a warm hand to hold during life's colder moments. But lately, something had shifted. Small irritations flared more often. Long silences lingered. A strange distance had grown between us. Something unspoken, yet unmistakably present. I told myself it was a phase. Every couple goes through rough patches. I believed the spark would return, that we'd find our rhythm again. But a voice inside whispered otherwise, and that night, everything fell apart. I remember sitting on the couch, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, trying to distract myself from the weight in my chest. In the kitchen, James clanged pots and pans with more force than necessary, frustration vibrating through every sound. When he finally came into the room, he didn't speak at first. He just looked at me, and I felt the storm behind his eyes. Still, I said nothing. I stayed curled up in my own silence, too tired or too scared to ask what he was thinking. He sat down beside me, his voice low but strained. "Emily," he said, "what's going on? It feels like you're slipping away." His words should have opened something in me. Instead, they triggered a wave of fear. I wasn't ready to unravel all that I'd buried. I wasn't ready to admit how afraid I was of losing him, or how uncertain I'd become about myself. So I reached for a shield, words meant to protect me from pain, even as they delivered it. "I'm not sure," I whispered, my voice cracking. Maybe we're not meant to be together like this. Maybe we'd be better off just as friends." I didn't mean it. Not truly. It was a defensive strike, an emotional reflex. I thought if I framed it gently as friendship, I could soften the blow. I thought we'd talk it out later, laugh about it, find our way back. I never imagined those words would be the last turning point. He stared at me for a moment, expression unreadable, then stood without a sound and walked away. I assumed he needed space. He always did after an argument. I waited for him to return. He didn't. The hours passed. Then the day. Then another. No calls. No texts. Nothing but silence where love used to live. I broke first, of course. My hands trembled as I typed the message. "James, please, can we talk?" I didn't mean what I said. I was scared. "We can fix this, can't we?" No reply. The silence scraped at my heart. How could he take me at my worst words and walk away? Hadn't we faced worse and come through stronger? Surely he knew I didn't mean it like that. On the third day, my phone finally buzzed. My breath caught when I saw his name. But the message, cold, decisive, knocked the wind from me. "Emily, I've been thinking about what you said, and I agree. Maybe friendship is the best path. I need time, but I don't think we can go back to what we had." Each word sliced deeper than the last. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours, unable to process that he had taken me at my word, that he'd accepted the distance I'd foolishly suggested. I had done this. I had thrown our love on the table like a negotiable item, and he, without anger, without cruelty, simply let it go. In the days that followed, I became a ghost inside my own life. I called him, left voicemails filled with stammered apologies. I sent long, aching messages, reminders of who we were, of all we'd survived, of all I still believed we could be. Each one disappeared into silence. The more I tried, the more I realized he was gone. Not just absent, but unreachable. It felt like being slowly erased from a story I helped write. One night, I saw him at a local bar. He was laughing, surrounded by friends, his shoulders lighter than I remembered. I approached him, hoping for a flicker of familiarity, some trace of us. But when he looked at me, his gaze was distant, polite, but unreachable. "Hey, Emily," he said, his tone even empty. "I'm doing fine. How about you?" The warmth, the softness, the knowing, gone. He didn't linger, didn't say goodbye, just walked away, and I watched him vanish into the night like someone I'd never known. I wandered home beneath the weight of what I'd destroyed. I thought about all we'd shared, the joy, the hard-won understanding, the quiet support through grief and growth. And I understood, truly, the magnitude of what I'd lost. I'd offered him an exit in the hope he'd refuse. But he didn't. He walked through it without looking back. And now there is no door left for me to knock on. A week later, I visited his apartment to gather my things. He wasn't there. The place was stripped of life, cold and still. I moved through the space like a stranger. On a shelf, I saw a photo of us, laughing, arms around each other, sunlight on our faces. I reached out, touched it lightly, and set it down again. I couldn't take it with me. That joy didn't belong to me anymore. It's been a month since then. I've reached out a few more times, but I don't expect answers anymore. I don't hope for a reunion. I only carry the lesson that words are not weightless, and moments of weakness can cost us everything we hold dear. I told the man I loved that maybe we were better off as friends, and in doing so, I lost him forever. If you ever feel that urge to push someone away before they can hurt you, to test love as if it's indestructible, pause. Think. One sentence is all it takes to burn down everything you spent years building. And once the ashes settle, there may be no way back.